Good morning. Welcome to Cornbread Crate Farm. I'm Perry. I just did a whole video on cutting up squash and zucchini, getting it ready for canning. Lost every bit of it. So I'm going to start over. Here we go. Let me bring you in here. I'm going to make this kind of quick. I got a big harvest. You'll see it come out of the canner. We're just going to add a few more jars to it. Just got some ball mason jars. Had a big old harvest of squash zucchini. I was actually saving this to use tonight for cooking. But what I'm going to do is, normally if you're going to fry up some squash or cook some squash, you're going to cut it, you know, in little round pieces. Well, for canning, we're going to do a little bit different. You're not going to be able to fry squash off of canning. You're going to have to do it in a little bit bigger chunks where it don't get hard. So what I do is I just cut it 4 ways and then cut it in sizable chunks here. Let me kind of angle you down a little bit more where you can see. And then I'll just take that and put it in my jar. And let's do this zucchini right here. Do it the same way. This is a big zucchini. I cut my ends off and save it for my chickens. So cut this long ways. Kind of cut down the middle. Some of them didn't do exactly like I wanted them, but this got some bigger seeds in it. I'm gonna throw that to the side. Same way with them. All right. And now you're going to see people have their lids getting hot and they're putting their jars in the oven, getting them hot, saying they're sterilizing them or put them in the dishwasher to sterilize them. That crap don't do no good. I'm a nurse. I'm a ER nurse, but I've also worked in the in the operating room. I've learned a lot about sterilization, and anything you get out sterile, and as soon as you touch it with something that's not sterile, it's no longer sterile. So you're just doing a lot of wasted time. Whenever I put this in a pressure canner, put it under pressure and heat, it's going to get sterilized, and everything that's inside of that is going to stay sterilized. All right, I'll do one more squash here to kind of fill this jar up. I'll put the rest of the refrigerator and save it. So anyway, so I'm going to teach you how to do it right, but understand there's no approved canning method for squash or zucchini. So I'm showing you the way I do it. So just remember that, do it at your own risk. All right, so I've got 3 more jars ready to go. I'm going to take a 1/4 tablespoon. I do the pint jars. I like serving sizes. This is the size I'm going to use. I can also use this for stir fry or making squash casserole or any kind of casserole. Anyway, I'm rambling. I guess I got kind of in a hurry since I spent so long on the other video and lost that footage. But this is just pickling salt. All it means, it just doesn't have iodine in it. So you're just going to use salt without iodine. You can use that pink Himalayan salt. Some people uses that. But iodine will make your water cloudy and it messes up long-term food storage. Iodine doesn't keep well. So just use something that doesn't have iodine in it. Let me get some water. We're just using regular tap water. I've got a wide mouth funnel that I'm going to put over that, and I'm going to fill it up to this first line. right here on the jar. That's a plenty of room. That's a plenty of room. That gives it plenty of room. Y'all, I'm Southern. I've got some, shoot, I'm all tongue-tied this morning. I've got a strong Southern drawl. I apologize. That's how my mama raised me. All right, when I put the lids on, I'm just gonna put them on there and finger tighten them. What I mean by that is I'm just gonna turn it till it quits turning. The only thing is you want that lid to set down on the thing. Oh, I forgot something real important. Goodness gracious. This is I did this earlier. I'm gonna get a towel and just I'm gonna kind of wipe the top of the lid off. Make sure there's no salt or anything in there that would interfere with that lid making a seal. Okay. There we go. Now I'll put my lid on there, do it down finger tight. All right, let's go here to the canning part. This is the part that I enjoy the most, but some people are scared of it. Understand, this is only going to be under 11 pounds of pressure. If you do open it up too early, it can burn you pretty bad. But we're not gonna be doing that. I'll show you how to prevent that from happening. And there's also a caution level around here that once you get past a certain point, it's a little bit too hot. But we're not going to ever let it get that high. We're going to cut our heat down. So what I've done is there's a line down here on this pressure cooker on the inside of it. It's about that high, and you put water to that level. Let me pull these out. And then on the bottom of it, it's got one of these rings that allows bubbles to come up through that and not, but it sets off the bottom, keeps your jars from rattling and beating against the bottom and potentially breaking them. But I've already got all this squash and zucchini sitting in here, ready to go. It was at that point that I realized that my camera wasn't even recording. I hit record, but something happened and it quit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put our fresh new squash that we just did on here, and our zucchini, just like so. Okay, now then we can go over here and put our lid on. It only goes one direction. There's actually I don't know if you see it, there's an arrow right here, and it lines up with the arrow that's on the thing. So you just kind of want to just line those arrows up, and then you can just take it and turn it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our heat up on high, and we're going to let this start boiling inside. And once it does that, steam is going to start coming out of this steam relief valve, and we want just a steady stream of steam coming out of it. That lets us know that we're almost ready to put our weight on there. But once that steam starts coming out, we're going to let it vent for 10 minutes before we ever put our weight in there. That make sure that it's steaming good and going good. So when it starts steaming, I'll come back and I'll show you where we're going to go from there. I forgot to mention that this little nipple right here, it's going to pop up, and that lets you know that you've got a good seal on your canner and that it's currently under pressure. So you can see we've already got, I don't know if you can see or not, but there actually is a little bit of steam already coming up there, but it's not a steady, complete stream. We want to make sure this nipple is up and steam is coming out. So you'll see, I think it's probably getting ready to almost pop up already. It'll start jiggling just a little bit. You'll see bubbles coming out of it, and then all of a sudden it'll pop up. You see a little bubble coming out of it. Okay, it looks like it's about getting ready to pop up. Let me bring it in a little closer and let's see if it does. No, it's not quite ready yet. It looks like this is getting ready to pop up. There it is. Dang, almost scared me. Had my hand on the tripod. You get anticipating this stuff too much. I thought it was fixing to go off on me. All right, so now that we got us a good steady stream of pressure, I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. And at that point, we'll come back and we'll put this little weight on there, and I'll show you what we'll do from there. All right, so the timers went off. It's been 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take this weight, and I'm just gonna take it and just throw it over the top of that. Now then the pressure's gonna start building up. I'm gonna kind of cut the heat back just a little bit. I'm gonna go to medium. And we're gonna watch this pressure gauge go up. And what's gonna happen is at my altitude, I need it at 11. That's anything below 1,000 feet. So we'll let that go for a minute. See, it's already starting to climb up. And the faster it climbs up, the more I'm gonna start backing the heat down. On my stove, I know I need it around on about 4, which is a little bit less than medium, to keep it where I need it. But once it gets up to 11, with squash and zucchini, we're gonna can it for 25 minutes. That's with the pints. If you're doing quarts, you want to keep it at 30. Okay, here we are. We've got it up to 11 pounds per square inch of pressure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna back my heat down just a little bit. Like I said, I kind of know where mine needs to be. I'm gonna set a timer for 25 minutes. I messed something up on my. All right, let me try again. Let me set timer for 25 minutes. All right, we'll just let it run. Main thing is, like I said, I'm gonna keep it above 11. So at this point, you don't want to walk away. You kind of want to keep a check on it, look on it about between every minute and 5 minutes to make sure it's above 11. If it does drop below 11, bring your heat back up and then start your timer over again. Okay, so we're gonna let it go for 25 minutes and then we'll come back. All right, here we are. Our 25 minutes has passed. We've set above temperature. We're gonna go ahead and just cut the eye off. Now, a while ago, I told you need to stay here and watch this and make sure it stays above 11 pounds per square inch. Now I want you to do the total opposite. Just walk away. Let this thing cool down. This little nipple right here has got to drop down. The pressure's got to go to 0 before you can ever open this up. This is where people gets hurt, trying to rush this up and do it. You've got to wait. You got to let all this pressure go away. Don't take the top off or don't take the weight off. Don't do nothing to try to rush it. Just walk away, come back 30 minutes, check and see how it is. If this is still up and you still got pressure, just go away some more. We'll come back when it's done, okay? So now, like I told you, I'm walking away. So the little nipple's down, pressure's all the way down to 0. We're gonna take this off. When we take it off, of course you're gonna open it up, but you're gonna pull it back like this and let the steam roll that way. However, every video you watch will give you that warning. The warning they don't tell you about is the hot moisture that's settled up on top of this lid. When you pick it up like this, it's gonna start dripping. And watch right down there about where you're gonna be holding that lid is your foot. If you got on tennis shoes or flip-flop, anything open, it's gonna go through it and it's gonna hurt. So kind of watch your feet and keep your feet back. So I try to open it away from my feet and let that steam blow out. And I'm just gonna set the lid off. All right, this stuff is rolling, boiling. Oh, get you where you can see here. Look at that. See, it's still cooking in there. We'll set these off. Another squash. That's beautiful, don't it? Here after a while, you probably start hearing these lids start popping. That means that they're sealing. I use a spoon to, let me show you with this little top here. I'll put my spoon in there and pick it up and let the water drip off of it and get down to that. There's some that's just the zucchini itself. Did you hear that pop? Hear it? That's that lid sealing. Hope you're able to hear that popping of them sealing. All right, let me. And there it is. This is beautiful as ever. So we got some canned squash. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna let it sit there and just, well, let me move over here where I can talk to you. All right, so now then what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna let it sit here and cool off, and usually just let it sit overnight. The next day it's usually where you can touch it, but this is gonna pop and seal for a while. Once it's done, then you can take the lids off, and the tops will be stuck on there, and they'll stay put. But thank y'all for watching my video. I appreciate it. I always like to tell you that I love each and every one of you the same way God loves each and every one of you. But thank you for subscribing to the channel, following my videos, and leaving your comments. It just means the world to me. And as always, Lord of mercy, I done got tongue tied. But as always, say hey you mom and them for me. I love y'all. Bye bye.